Hey guys, welcome to Third Stall Garage. My name is Doug and this is a 66 Mustang convertible named Vin that I'm working on restoring. Today's project, as you can see behind me, is to mount the hood. This is an exciting day for me. Trying to get this to fit. For me, kind of make sure that the driver's side of the car, the door, the fender aprons, the frame, all kind of line up and match with the passenger side of the car, the door, the fender aprons, cowl, side panel, and it all ties together, and the hood ties those two and sets the gap. So I'm excited to work on putting this in, see how it fits. Next, so this is episode 16, 15 or 16. Check on the title, it'll tell you. If you haven't subscribed to the channel and want to learn about restorations of classic Mustangs, 65, 66, a lot of the work applies to really restoring any classic car. Love to have you hit the subscribe button and become part of the Third Stall family. So after the intro, tune back in. Let's see how mounting this hood goes and if it goes the way I hope or if everything goes south. Hinges mount pretty easy and the adjustment's pretty easy. You've got 3 slots, 1, 2, 3, all with vertical slots in them. So basically you just gotta put the bolts in there, line them up approximately close, and then tighten them up. I'm thankful to have an air ratchet, which just makes the job a little bit easier and a little bit quicker, especially when you're holding something, but obviously any ratchet sockets that will do. Terms of adjustments on the hinges, got that a little too tight. You really don't need much adjustment forward and back in these 3 bottom hinges. It's basically up and down, which sets the height of your hood. There's 2 long slots in this top bracket that adjusts the hood in and out, or basically as you mount the hood, if your gap is too small, you would slide it forward. If your gap is too big, you'd slide it back. If your hood is angled to the left too much, you would take the driver hinge and slide it forward and the passenger hinge and slide it back, basically to get your hood alignment where you are. Funny story for you, when I was setting that fender, I measured everything to make sure everything's square from, fender to the floor in a variety of different spots, to the firewall, to the back of the cowl, just making sure everything is square between the 2 fenders. I measured the back of the hood from this fender to that fender, and it was about 48 inches. And then the front is about 46 inches. And I panicked. I'm like, how can I be off 2 inches off square? Where did I go wrong? And I spent a little while trying to figure it out. And then I went and actually measured the hood, and the hoods are 2 inches narrower in the front than they are in the back. So there should be a 2-inch, angle in as it goes. So I'm gonna tighten these up, and then we'll install the hood and see how it looks. All right, so we're about to put the hood in for the first time, kind of an exciting moment. I did put 2 towels in, blue towel over there and green towel here, just to avoid excessive scratching. It's all primer, so it's gonna get finished anyways, but it's still good to not ding and scratch things as much as possible. Basically, it's kind of heavy, so you hold it in place, start a couple screws, tighten it. We'll do the same thing on the other side, and then we'll slowly lower it down to see whether it's hitting on either side, and then we'll work on adjusting it. Here we go. All right. I have the help of my lovely assistant today, which I'm very thankful for. All right. Okay, don't worry too much about lining it up real close.
Okay.
But can you hold it strong with your right hand
Yep.
so I can quickly reach and grab bolts?
Does that hurt your head?
Oh, not too bad. Oh, I forgot to plug the air hose in. All right, you got a second?
Yep.
So as I tighten this up, I'm going to pull the hood as far away from the cowl as I can, just to risk, you know, the first time I close it, it hitting the cowl. All right, one side done. All right. Move your hand up or down. Thank you, hon.
Yep.
All right, now the magic moment. You pull the towels out of the way. And you carefully lower the hood. So the hood is back off again after its initial first fitting. The hood needs to move that way just slightly to get the hood line to match up with this fender and the cowl. It's a little bit too tight there and a little bit too loose here. So I'm going to, and I've got all of the adjustment used up in the bolts. So I'm going to slot the, or grind out the edge of this on both slots there. And on this side, I'm gonna grind on the inside. So hopefully the hood will move that way a little farther. The other problem I need to work on is this back corner of the hood sits too high. And these three mounting holes, I've already dropped the hinge as low as I can. So I'm gonna take this hinge off and slot those holes a little bit higher in the hinge bracket, which will allow the hinge to drop down another 3/8 of an inch to 3/16 of an inch, and then I will remount the hood again. Okay, before I lower it down, it looks like the hood is too far that way, so I gotta watch that side. Although this side looks pretty close too. Watch it as we go. This gap seems to be looking okay on this side. We're pretty even across the back. I don't know where we're gonna end up final wise. We're down. Okay, so the hood fits. You know, got a huge gap in the back, which is okay. Much better to have that. The passenger side is hitting just ever so slightly. So the front of the hood needs to go this way, which is good because I got too big of a gap here. But overall, my fit on the back here is all right. So I think what I need to do is I'm gonna try to hone in this gap next. So I'll pop the hood up and then I'll drop the hood down about 1/2 inch on each side. So that will involve loosening these 2 bolts. I got a 1/2 inch marked here, so I'll drop that line down to there and then do a similar thing on the other side. All right, I should be able to just loosen these. The hood's not gonna go anywhere as long as I don't take them all the way out. That's tightening them, in case you were wondering. Okay, so, I want to probably loosen them a little more. I am fighting the other hinge just a little bit, but should work out all right. That might actually help me hold it from falling too far. So something approximately like that, and I'll tighten it back up. Would you see the hood kick over to the right as I did that? I want to slide it back over that way. Now let's go do this other side. Again, I made a little mark as to about where I want it. See how it looks? Try to give you an interesting view of it. I'm worried about this back gap. It's closer. So our back gap is closer, but it's not quite there yet. Our passenger side gap has gotten quite large, and our driver side gap has disappeared. So that makes me think that I dropped this side back a little bit farther than that side, which makes sense because this gap is smaller there. But I need to go about 1/8 of an inch here and 3/16 of an inch there. So we'll do it again. I'm not going to keep tweaking this on video. It's just simply a matter of Doing it over and over again and tweaking and moving things sideways, moving the hinges up and down until you get the hood where you want it to be. If I do indeed get the hood where I want it to be and feel good about it, then I'm going to start moving toward the headlight buckets and all the rest of the front sheet metal. I don't know if you noticed, I'm going to turn the camera around. This is not the hood I'm going to use. It's got some rust holes. It's thin through this whole area. And realistically, I really want a hood with some scoops in it. The car, I'd like to make it look a little bit more fun. I'm assuming I have not bought another hood yet. I'm just going to use this one for mocking up purposes. Because I would like to make the car look a little bit tougher than stock with aftermarket rims. Scoops on the hood, maybe scoops on the back, in the rear quarter. We'll see. I don't know yet for sure. I know it's totally a personal preference thing. If anybody has a hood at home that they bought and decided not to use that would fit a 65 or 66 with scoops, send me a message and maybe we can make a deal. Other than that, I'll tweak this and show you the final result. Hood is mounted. Gap is pretty good on the passenger side, all the way back. Yep, it's pretty good on the driver's side, all the way back. Pretty even. And then gap against the cowl is pretty solid. It's a little close on the driver's side. The hood has a slight bow to it. You'll see that it's a little proud right here. The arc of the hood can be flattened out fairly easily. I'm not going to worry about that. We'll see how it matches the front headlight bucket here. But seeing as this is not the permanent hood I'll be using, I'm okay with that. I have a little bit of a height issue to work out with this fender to the cowl and the hood to the cowl, but I think that can happen at a later date. I feel really good about this. Thanks for watching and being a part of Third Stall Garage. And moving on next to headlight buckets and working more on the front end. Starting to look like a car.